I'm out here seeing things at the Burying Hill in Plymouth, Mass. I had to think of the name. It's just looking out at some of the buildings in the neighborhood, more or less at the entrance. They have this old powder room here. Not exactly sure when that was built, out of brick. But apparently they used to store powder in there, the old powder house. And if I swing back over here, you can see how close I am to the water. So Plymouth Bay out there and some islands. And in the distance, Cape Cod. But we're going to have some of the earliest settlers. It's going to be a bit windy. Earliest settlers should be here. Whether I'll find them or not remains. I've never been here before, but this is looking like a good prospect right up here. Some of these very oddly shaped stones are going to be interesting, whatever's in there. We have a little fenced-in section with a table. Oh, that's like a capstone. Jacob Jackson. Not sure why he's all isolated like that. Mary Jennings, 1793. With quite an interesting, sorry I didn't quite get down on that enough there. Interesting angel on the top. Joanna Cotton. With the willow and urn. Daughter of John Cotton, who I believe is a Mayflower original. But there's a ton of interesting graves here, so I can't show them all. We'll just do some selections. Erected in memory of DEA Lemuel Drew. That's deacon or what? Who with faith, patience, and submission to the will of God died in 1825. But very interesting willow and urn atop that one. And here's one of these pointed stones, which, okay, these are just from the 19th century. Drew, Isaac Drew, 1844. Some serious lichen over here. And that one. So, these are early 19th century. I thought some of these would be older here. It certainly looks older. Boy, that's a tough one to read. Eheophilus, Cotton. Martha Cotton. So these are 1700s here for sure. Interesting. Not sure where to go exactly here for the oldest stones, but yeah, this definitely looks like, sorry, talking away from the camera, this looks like a 19th century section, late 18th century. Let's just do a little wandering and see what we can see what stands out. Definitely seeing some Sons of the American Revolution eagles. Sarah Spoon, 1767. Interesting stone inset. Thomas Spooner, not Spoon, but Spooner, 1762. Okay, let's keep rolling through here. Dude smoking weed in the corner. So it's good. That's alright, it's a reasonable place to smoke weed. Some of these are probably going to be commemorative duplicates. This is quite a view over here. Look at the top of that building and the water, the stones, the trees. It's got everything. Yeah, so these are repros here. Edward Gray, 1681. John Howland, 1672/3, 80 years old. Wow. So definitely born in the 1590s. John Tilley, who came with him on the Mayflower. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff right here. I seem to be at the pinnacle now. Interesting angel. That John Howland's got a Mayflower facsimile. And some scallop shells, which are indicative of St. James. I'm not sure if that was the intention there, but the sacred spot, Captain Abraham, not sure, Hammett, 1797. That's an American Revolutionary War vet. So yeah, they're making some, let me turn around here slowly. They're making some mention here of Edward Grey, and the original stone was inset in the one that I was just looking at the back of. Okay, so they're highlighting this, and then you can barely see the original quality there. You can barely see the carving. So yeah, there's plenty just up here on this little hill. Thomas Clark, 1697. Mate of the Mayflower. According to tradition in the Plymouth and Connecticut colonies, history gives his arrival in Plymouth from England in the ship Anne in 1623, married Susan Ring of Plymouth, 1634, etc. Talking about the family. Stone erected in 1891. Ephraim Little, maybe? Pastor of the Church of Christ. Not really getting a year on this. Maybe you can see it better on the screen than I can directly. Quite an interesting spot here. I really like the way, so it is called Burial Hill, and it's super appropriate because it is just this mound with stacked graves here and fantastic trees. There's stuff going on here. Looking at closer to the heart of it all. Of course, I'm attracted to this one right away. Embedded as it is, 1769, Samuel Bartlett, Esquire. Makes me think of that show, The West Wing. I think I've mentioned that before. You know, they'll take names from history and just kind of make them adjacent. Give these characters, television, movie characters, names. So I think that was Martin Sheen's president. I never really watched that show, but I'm pretty sure that was his character. Lemuel Bartlett, 1792. There's a bunch of these inset stones. This is a really great way to preserve these things. William Doughton died in 1813, but a son of the American Revolution for sure. Hannah Hosea, wife, Daniel Hosea, 1773. Son over here. No shortage of grief for these people with their kids all dying young. What do we have happening here? 1842. Abigail, wife of Reverend Jackson. Hard to read. Reverend Kendall over here. That one looks like a tree getting cut in half, so but that doesn't apply here. 89 years, because that's a symbol of life cut short. So that must be something else. 89 years is not a life cut short, especially back then. This is a view up here. This is getting better all the time. So this is some Robbins folks here. Reverend Jackson. Hmm. Interesting. Let's keep rolling here. I'm seeing new stuff all the time. There's churches down there at the bottom of the hill. Downtown Plymouth behind that, essentially. Too many good stones to look at in here. First fort, built in 1621. Makes sense. Put your fort on the hill. Lower part used for church. Also site of the fort, built in 1675. James Warren is encased in here with his family. Maybe these are relatives of Elizabeth Warren? I have no idea. We don't want to assign too much to her. She's been through enough. Scholar, patriot, soldier, president of the Provincial Congress of Massachusetts, general of the American Revolution. 1923 erected. So he's got his whole family in here. There's a stone behind it. Quite the place here. Let's see what we have here. Robert Cushman. Fellow exile with the Pilgrims in Holland. Afterwards, their chief agent in England arrived here. 9th of November, 1621, with Thomas Cushman, his son, preached 9 December his memorable sermon on the danger of self-love and the sweetness of true friendship. Returned to England 13th December. Just showed up here to give a little sermon, doing a tour, to vindicate the enterprise of Christian emigration, and there remained in the service of the colony till 1625, when having prepared to make Plymouth his permanent home. Robert Cushman Memorial. And behind me, just kind of go slow here so you don't make you dizzy. Says here Thomas Cushman, maybe his son, 1691. Church of Plymouth for many years. Served the church for many years. Interesting. And again, encased with a great looking worn winged skull up top. But yeah, even just standard stones are pretty cool looking here. This is big slab here. Betsy Thomas Barnes. Just quite the view. There's plenty of Revolutionary War soldiers in here. I don't have time to look them all. A lot of 1700 stones in good shape. What we got here? Some patina on this copper. Brass cannon. Like these were named by Bradford and Winslow in the Annals of Plymouth mounted on the first fort, 1621. Brass cannon like what? Maybe they're out in front. I don't see anything. These pieces are from the collection in the British National Artillery Museum. On the right is a minion of the time of Mary, 1554, with a rose and the letters Maria Regina, and is inscribed John and Thomas Mayo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's just see. There must be something in front of this. Or, I don't know what they're talking about. There are cannons somewhere, apparently. I don't see them. This is a steep hill. All right. Great section. And I thought William Bradford was here. But if that's true, I haven't found them, obviously. And I thought the first settlers were in here. We have come across some Mayflower settlers for sure. But who knows? Let's just keep rolling over here. Benjamin Bagnell, 1839. Some 19th century stones here. Willow and urn, kind of a different one. I'm a bit blocked off here. I gotta go up the hill again. William Crow, 1683. So a lot of these, I'm just gonna recenter here. A lot of these 1600 ones are sort of double marked now, so you don't miss them, which is helpful. And there it is. Get a good look at that. 1683/4. And a whole crow section here, I guess. Jacob Taylor, 1738. Some great looking stones up here. All these encased ones are certainly of interest. 1712, Mary Rickard with a winged skull. Sorry. He's getting fixated on the skull. Hannah Jackson, widow of Jeremiah Jackson, 1763. That's got some texture to it. Has a lot of these too. My goodness. Here we've got a little fenced-in plot. There's some Bradfords. Joan Bradford, 1869. So, you know, we're getting 200 years after William Bradford. So who knows? These are far descendants. Cooks. Various people named Cox. C-O-X. Seeing an interesting Bathsheba stone here. It's 19th century, but you don't see that name too much. Bathsheba. Some military graves coming up here. Let's don't look at too many of these. Let's see what we got. Well, it's hard to read. Holmes. Nathaniel Holmes. Died in 1825. Son of the American Revolution. Willow and urn. Thomas Wetherill. Interesting cherub or skull, hard to tell. Very Edward Gorey looking. He was from around here. 1743. He's got a house/museum on the Cape, not too far from here. I'd say half an hour. William Shirtley or Shirtleff. Can't tell the year. How you doing?
Good.
You see, is Governor Bradford here?
Yes. I thought I saw one over.
He's down there?
Yeah, that might be it. The tall.
That monolith right there? Yeah, okay, let me go check that. I haven't found him yet. I thought that'd be a little more obvious.
Yeah, if it wasn't there, I thought yes, there
Yeah, you're right.
Wouldn't sign by it.
I'm seeing Bradford's here. Very good, thank you. Almost missed him, so Captain Lemuel Bradford, for example, from 1828. Joseph Bradford, son of the late Honorable William Bradford, governor. So here's his son, dying in 1715. Wow. With a double-winged skull up top. So William Bradford's son. So Bradford himself, we get a bunch of his descendants here. There's Nathaniel, dying in 1751. Mary, wife of Lemuel. But William is here. This is this small obelisk. And it just says, under the stone rest the ashes of William Bradford, a zealous Puritan and sincere Christian, governor of Plymouth Colony, 1621 to 1657. Age 69. Says something about except 5 years, which he declined. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I guess it's when he wasn't the governor. Interesting. So, let's see. Died in 1657, so this must be a son as well. William Bradford. Dying in the 1700s. Another son or grandson here by now. Yeah, there's some oldies here. Look at this thing. This is worn, but I think I read the name as John Cooper. That's seriously worn. But if they're up here with the Bradford family, they've got to be pretty close to original Descendants. And I guess that's the only stone they've got for him. These are hard to read. I have to do rubbings here. John Churchill, 1723. Okay, that was almost a near miss there for me. So that to me would be the most prominent grave in this cemetery. It's just, you know, the first governor of the Plymouth Colony. Everybody else is sort of a Mayflower descendant or other Mayflower riders. That's what this town is about, you know. Actually, we can see the replica of the Mayflower if you look in the distance. See the flags on the ship. That's the Mayflower replica. And it's got that 1620 carved stone, which I mentioned before, it was carved in the 19th century. It's not that the Pilgrims landed here and carved 1620 in a rock. That's just some kind of misinterpretation created by that stone that makes it look like that. So, no shortage of interesting graves here. It's funny in a way too, because, you know, when I go to other cemeteries that have, like, you know, every 100th grave is this interesting, I go and look at it. But here, it's just an embarrassment of riches. It's like being in the Louvre or something. I can't appreciate every stone that I pass. They're too numerous and diverse, and I can just kind of glance. So unless you really come to look at one, you're going to overlook a lot. Elkanah Watson, Patience Watson, 1767. Okay, but you see these are nice too, I have to say. These like patinaed with the flags. Those are the American Revolution ones, so those have been here for a while. Oh, what do we got here? Zachariah Bartlett, Hannah Bartlett. Get over here, look at this giant urn. Captain Simeon Sampson, 1789, age 53. That is an American Revolutionary War death. Right, most likely died in action at the end, I guess. Or, I mean, I don't know. Age 53, hard to say. A lot of really worn stones over here, very, very weathered. This place does get battered in the winter. It gets cold and windy being on the shore over here like this. Well, I think we've hit the majority of it. I'm surprised at how many stoners there are in this place, that people just come here to get high. But that's part of the activity of graveyards, you know. Some nefarious activity, because you're going to do what you're going to do. It's nice to do it away from the general public, where they don't harass you and you don't feel conspicuous. You can just sort of hide out here. I really don't have a problem with it. But it's just a little surprising, like, you know, this is a secular, I mean, well, I guess it's a religious place, but it's more of like sacred in the secular sense. This is American heritage. It's like getting high in Arlington National Cemetery. Oh my gosh. It's freedom. This is an interesting one now. So after all that, you know, just to see this little humble stone here, PH 1794, MH 1829, plain, simple. After all of this deep history here. So, take one more little walk through. I doubt I'm going to find anybody else that I'm going to be particularly aware of, but you never know. I didn't come over here to this little iron fence. I'm not sure if there's any significance to it. Let's check it out. Sims, S-I-S-Y-M-M-E-S. This is an interesting 1700 stone. Just look at that carving on there, so fine. Hannah Sims. Another one of these giant urn stones, 1791. Isaac Sims. A little bit of glare off there. Revolutionary War, Thomas Jackson. Back to the spoons. Got a few stones here that people have placed. Let's take a look. Oh, I already looked at this. Thomas Clark. I read that whole thing. Okay. Let's see what we can see over here. John May, 1754. These have markers on them for some reason. Oh, I guess because they're in the middle of restoring. That's actually interesting restoration action going on there. You can see this kind of grout that they're using. Harlow, William Harlow, Mercy Harlow we're looking at. Really amazing cracking in there. I'm not sure what that Japanese term is for that method of leaving or accentuating the cracks, but it seems like they've kind of done that there. That's William over there. Here's another one with some sticks in front of it. Hannah. Fonts. John Fonts, Hannah Fonts. We have this location called Fonts Corner. Fonts Corner in Dartmouth, Mass. This little green one's getting restored next to this Revolutionary War vet. Yeah, Churchill again. Seth Churchill is the vet. Nice plaque. Not really too patinaed yet. Elizabeth Churchill, and I'm not sure which Churchill that is over there, but you see it's got the wooden marker. It's marked for restoration. They're probably going to ensconce that in a larger stone, which is great. It's just what you want to see, is this level of care, because 300-400 years out here in these elements is not going to enhance the quality here. Oh, fantastic. What a place, what a view, what a gorgeous day. I got lucky. Not too windy, I hope it wasn't too loud. That was amazing. I'm just gonna walk you out here. So, great cemetery. Model. Ideal little colonial quality. Creepy and crooked and half restored and filled with stories. So Plymouth is quite a town. These days, of course, it's like, it's just any kind of coastal resort town. It's a lot of fried shrimp and beer drinking, mixed drinks in the summer, bar bands, playing Jimmy Buffett covers. It's all that kind of stuff. People use this place as an escape, and it's got a nice historic backdrop. But the history is the interesting thing. Just going to take a look at this little pointy stone here, to the memory of two children of Mr. Lewis and Mrs. Elizabeth Weston. Something son. A son, first son maybe? Lewis died September 21st, 1800, aged 1 year, 7 months. Then second son, John, or second son, Lewis. It's weird, they just call the kids Lewis. Or second son of Lewis. I don't know, they didn't give these kids names. 1 month and 23. Interesting, but very fine cherub up top. So, and then they've got some kind of a parking ride over here, just public parking area, which is a little strange. It's like a parking garage at the base of it. So, who knows? Maybe I'll come back here, do a little research, but that was just a first pass, and I feel like I saw quite a lot of good stuff. So I'm pleased. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. Catch you later.